So here's the names right here. So I'll introduce you.
Okay.
Good morning. Thank you for attending the 2025 Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's my honor and privilege to welcome you to Hightstown High School Hall of Fame today. It's a celebration that gives me great joy to welcome the newest members of this proud tradition. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to the Master of Ceremonies, the real Master of Ceremonies, Jeannie Heikes.
Okay. We are going to introduce each of the inductees. They will come in and they will go to their table. And then once we have the whole group, they can go to their table and sit down. They don't have to stand. From the class of 1959 for baseball and soccer, Larry Bird. From the class of 1988, Joe Collin, track. From the class of 1992, Ron Bromberg, ice hockey. From the class of 1993, Dr. Adam Rosh, baseball and soccer. From the class of 2015, Dr. Sneha Rangu, tennis. From the class of 2018, Allie McDade, swimming. The 2010 Boys Track Group 3 State Sectional Championship Relay Team. First will be the coaches, Tom McCafferty, Jim Furtek, and Matt Gershowitz. The runners, Tyler Foss, Steve Lizelle, Karan Purcell, Brian Sheehan. From the 1996 Girls Spring Track Group 2 State Championship Mile Relay Team, Margaret McCormick, Joanne Fennedy-Sapicki, representing Ellen Bradley is her sister, Tricia Bradley. Representing Coach Dempsey Dixon is Karen Lewis. All yours.
Let's give a round of applause for the class of 2025, our newest inductees. Of course, we want to take a moment just to thank some people that would have made today possible. Our Hall of Fame committee. If our Hall of Fame members that are in the committee, could you please stand and be recognized by this group? The members of the committee: Jeannie Heikes is our chairperson, Jim Furtek, our assistant chairperson, Chris Verag, our athletic director. I'm only 5 minutes in and I got yelled at.
No, I didn't hear.
What did I do wrong?
First of all, do you have the list of the Hall of Famers? I don't have mine up here. That you want me to do?
I don't have your list.
Okay. Go ahead.
This is why I'm being forced to retire. Our assistant principal, Mike Sapicki, Larry Gunnell, alumnus, Joanne Sapicki, retired faculty, athletic trainer, coach, Hall of Famer, Jack Dunn, retired faculty member, coach, Kathy Hart, faculty member, retired, a coach, Nicole Tomasello, supervisor, alumni, and a former coach. And our last two members of our committee, newest members of our committee, Ed Horowitz, alumni, Hall of Fame member, and a current coach for us, and Charlie Vallon, alumni and Hall of Fame member. Also like to take a moment to recognize some of our retiree committee members, John Wagner, Trish Johnson, Don Oley, and Sam Sortino. A special thank you to Frank Hampton, who's here and really is the brains behind this operation. He's the person that began the Hall of Fame 31 years ago. So Frank, thanks. You come here every year, and we really appreciate everything you've done. Thank you for creating it. This group, past and present, was committed to celebrating our history, but also investing in the future. Throughout their work, through scholarships and awards each year, they award these to deserving student athletes. They ensure that the Ram legacy is passed on. Without this group of individuals, we would not be here today. I do want to take a moment, I think Jeannie's going to take a moment, to recognize our former current Hall of Famers that are here today. So Jeannie's going to ask our current Hall of Famers who come out and support this great organization to stand to be recognized.
Okay. I told the students that are here, that represent all the different sports, that when we announced the Hall of Famers that are here, that I would also say their year and their sport, so that if you play that sport, feel free to go up and talk to any of them when you have a minute or two. So not just the name, but it'll be the year and what they're in for. Diane Brader Bowden, member of the 75 softball team that's in. Just stand up when you do it so the kids can see who you are. Bruce Broadbent, member of the 85 baseball team. Frank Brown, member of the 64 basketball team. I'm sorry, these are the class, their class, not the team. Okay, so he was a class of 64. Ray Clark was a basketball coach who had a state championship team. Girls team. Mark Clemens is from the class of 78 for football. I don't think he made it though. Jeff Gretchen from the class of 73, football, who comes every year. Larry Gunnell, the class of 1960, soccer. Frank Hampton is, as a co-founder of the Hall of Fame, is a Hall of Famer. Claudia Bloom Hanslet from 1970, softball, and I coached her. Kathy Hart, the coach of the 1984 girls track team. Okay. Ed Horowitz from 1985 class for baseball. I think she said. Trish Kane Johnson from the class of 84 for softball. Margaret McCormick from the class of 77 track. Sue Pate, class of 78 softball. Mark Pascator, class of 83 football. Dave Rosenblatt, class of 85, cross-country. Sam Sortino, football coach. I don't know if he's here. Joel Turnquist, class of 1960, soccer. Charlie Vallon, class of 1982, cross-country. John Wagner, soccer coach. Cheryl Wolf, contributor and a field hockey coach. Joanne Sapicki, class of 78 track. Mike Sapicki, coach of the 85 baseball team. And me.
Thank you, Jeannie. So I have to admit, just speaking from the heart for a moment, I'm a little biased when it comes to Hightstown athletics. Fortunate enough to have a front row seat for the last couple of years since I've been here, but I definitely have had a direct connection with athletics at Hightstown. Having two boys compete for this school has lasted an impact on me. I've been fortunate to have a front row seat, not just as a principal, but as a father, witnessing how athletics shape character, builds resilience, creates lifelong memories. That perspective has definitely deepened my appreciation for the way sports bring us together. Today is about bringing us together to celebrate the past, but probably more importantly, to pave the future. Athletics has always been a special place, not only for the lessons that we learn, teamwork, discipline, perseverance, but it also unites us as a school. Friday night lights under the lights, packed gyms in the winter, spring afternoons on the fields. These moments remind us that Hightstown High School is more than just a building. It's a living community. And through it all, our parents, our fans, and our neighbors that have been cheering us and supporting us and believing in our students paved the way every step of the way. Before we recognize our distinguished athletes going in today, I want to take a moment to thank those who have made it possible for us to be here. Special shout out to our new athletic director, Chris Virag, who wants to take a moment just to welcome himself and say a few words. Chris.
Good afternoon. I'm Chris Virag, your new athletic director. Proud athletic director. Since I took over on July 1st, we had about a day or two of school, a little bit of a break, and then I had a Monday morning 8 a.m. meeting with Jeannie Heikes to give me the lowdown on all the nuts and bolts with setting up the Hall of Fame. So we've had about 2 meetings per month. You don't realize all that goes on behind the scenes, so round of applause for Jeannie setting this up. To piggyback off of what Dennis was just mentioned, one of my favorite parts of this yearly tradition is we have about 40 student athletes scattered throughout the room, about 1 to 3 per sport. I'm really happy that they get to take this in, and then all of our current inductees or former, they learn those life lessons that you're going to get through team sport, and it kind of made them successful in the classroom, on the field, and in their adult lives as well. So take that in, get involved with all the team sports that you can throughout the school year, and then let's go beat Nottingham tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. Yeah, it's been great having Chris on board. It's been fun to be able to try to pass on some of the traditions and the stories that we've all been exposed to. So he's been a quick learner, constantly asking questions, and really the most important thing is he's just been wanting to know what we've done in the past, and so we keep that and we celebrate it. So again, thank you, Chris, for being here today. I want to give a special shout out to our superintendent, Mr. Mark Daniels, whose leadership has been nothing short than amazing. There's not a day that goes by that he does not support our student athletes inside the classroom or outside. Without his support, we would definitely not be the school that we are. So thank you, Mark, for being here, and thank you for celebrating our newest inductees. I also want to thank members of our school board. We don't have any members here today, but it goes without saying that we would not be in the place without the support of the members of our school board who make sure that our athletes have nothing but the best. So we're fortunate to be joined by so many of our current coaches, our former coaches. It's a great way to celebrate because we're only as good as our coaches. Chris mentioned it and Jeannie also mentioned it. I think what makes Hightstown High School Athletic Hall of Fame so important, and I say this every year, I don't know of another Hall of Fame that brings so many students into the Hall of Fame. We have, as we said, over 40 students who have been able to come here through the generosity of our Hall of Famers. And really, I think it's significant, and I know this was the vision that Frank had with Gary Brichelli, was having our current student athletes hear the stories of the past. And really, for the first time, I'm starting to see individuals. It started with Dakota Mills, who was being inducted 2 years ago, an athlete who was a student when I was here as principal. And we're having 2 more athletes that are going to be inducted who I know sat where you 40 students sat not that long ago. And you are hearing the story that they're telling. And someday I know there's future Hall of Famers that are here in this room. And I just can't wait to see the next group that gets inducted. So for our student athletes, please take an opportunity when you can. Introduce yourself and just listen to some of the great advice that you can learn by listening to the Hall of Famers that are here today. Again, we want to thank the families who come today. Without your families, obviously, I don't think anybody would be here without that support. So it goes without saying that we are really a collective strength of our entire group that is here, and it's wonderful to see so many friends and family come out to support you. Before we begin our formal program, I guess in a way we're turning it over to our formal program. A great tradition that we started 3 years ago was the Russ Blue Coach of the Year Award. As many of you know, Russ was a legendary coach here at Hightstown High School and a staff member. Russ had the fortunate knowledge to chronicle all the great events, and we still rely on his expertise to this day. Russ really was the epitome of what a coach should be. He was a a coach of X's and O's, but more importantly, he coached people, and he made our students better people. So in that tradition, we honor a coach that's nominated by the community, could be nominated by his players. And this is this year's, the 2025 recipient was awarded at the end of last year, and that's our baseball coach, James Pugliese. James, stand up, be recognized. So just a quick little synopsis about Coach Pugs. Coach Pugs took over a baseball team a few years ago that was struggling a little bit. James provides the leadership that we were looking for, and it's really, I'm excited to say, this past year, not only did James get us back into the state tournament, we made it to the semifinals in the Mercer County tournament. We won a state game, which was the first time we've won a state game in probably a lot of years, right? He doesn't keep track of that. His assistants keep track of the years of that, but it was great that we got back into the state tournament. We have two of his coaches here today, Ed Horowitz, Hall of Famer, who coaches for us, and Dave Gorner, assistant coach. And I think James would say, he's only as good as his assistants. I would say that I would put our assistant coaches in our baseball program up against any assistants in the state. That entire program has emphasized really making sometimes some boys that need a little bit of direction into better people, and they did a great job. James' work does not stop when the season ends. He provides opportunities for his individual team's development. He also does outreach. His boys participate in the Miracle League. They give back to the community, and James really is the epitome of what we want our Sierra coaches to do. So it's great to honor James. Thank you, and I know we're going to have a great season this year, and I think Jeannie has something for you. Oh, you already got it. Thank you.
He already got his plaque.
He got his plaque. So the Hall of Fame committee makes a donation in the amount of
$100 to his team.
$100 to his team, so James will put that to good use. So again, want to thank James for all his hard work, and I think we're about ready to start our festivities. Jeannie, you want to give directions on how we're going to do the rest of today? Are we eating?
We have an inductee that is in the military and he has to leave us. But we want to make sure he's recognized as part of his team. And so we're going to start the speeches. And the coach of the team, Tom McCafferty, is going to tell you a little bit about the team. And then one of the team members is going to accept for the team. Normally we do the teams at the end, but we're very flexible. And so this is the way we're doing it today. It's all yours, Tom.
Still morning? Oh no, we're afternoon now. Afternoon, everybody. My name's Tom McCaffrey. It's a profound honor to speak here about the group I affectionately call the Relay. There's no other team that's going to get that name. In the 14 years I spent coaching at Hightstown, this is the Relay. I coached cross country, winter track, and spring track at Hightstown for 14 years. Most of that was all 3 seasons, cross country, winter, and spring. But this particular group of young men didn't just rewrite the record books, they obliterated it. And most of those records still stand today after 15 years. So I'm going to kind of tell the story of that season, that very kind of fateful season of them from 2009 to 2010. But first I want to congratulate all the athletes and teams being inducted into the Hall of Fame today. It's an honor bestowed upon a very select few of the thousands of athletes that come through Hightstown's halls. I also want to extend my thanks to the Hall of Fame committee for their continued efforts in recognizing our athletes. It's a lot of work to have the Hall of Fame committee meet and decide who's going to be in and then track everybody down, organize all this, so thank you to the Hall of Fame committee. Also like to recognize some other individuals who were instrumental in building Hightstown's track program for many years. Jim Furtek, who was our head coach. If you don't know, he coached multiple state champions in the throws, and he was a distance runner. So good for him to learn a new sport. We hoodwinked Matt Derstowitz into coaching with us as well. He was in our math department, so it's 3 math teachers. And he took on our sprints and our jumps, and again had multiple athletes qualify for states. When he would announce that we're running repeat 350 meters with 15 minutes rest, these guys would cower. It was great. So let me tell you the story of kind of the relay and how it unfolds of the 2009-2010 school year. Three of the members, Karan, Tyler, and Brian, began in cross country, kind of laying the groundwork for a wild 6 months of track and field. I just want to kind of give you the understanding of how competitive Mercer County was back then. Our cross country team finished 4th in the county, 3rd in the section, and then 11th in Group 3. We're 4th in our own county, but 11th in the state. That's how challenging it was to go up against the West Windsors, the Hopewells of the world. But these high finishes were just an early indication that we were in for something special during the track season. The record breaking started at everybody's favorite indoor venue, the Bubble. Anybody else, the Bubble? Any track kids? All right, the Bubble. Oh, it's a god-awful place. But we had a lot of good memories there. At state relays, schools' records fell in both the distance medley, the 4x4. We asked these guys to do pretty much everything. Right? They ran 4s, 8s, 1s, 2s, hurdles, mile, half mile. They were all over the place. A week later, after the state relays, we went to Lawrenceville Prep. And we set a new record in the sprint medley. It was one of those nights. It's a late night on like a Sunday. It's 6 o'clock. It's snowing outside. We're waiting for the last event. It's the sprint med. Karan's got to anchor it. It rips off like a 156 half, to set the new school record. So we knew we were in for something special. And to cap off the sectional meet, the week after that, Karan wins the sectional with a new sectional record, which still stands at 156.46. And the 4x4. Right? And they go on to say, hey, wait a minute, we can do that. We can also win. We're going to win the section while we're at it. So the 4x4 team goes and wins the sectional title over Jackson Memorial and the new school record and new sectional record time at 3:30. So then on a Wednesday night, we decided, hey, we've been asking these kids to double a lot of these meets. You're going to run the open 4, you're going to come back in the 4x4. You're going to run the 8, come back in the 4x4. You're going to run multiple events for us. So we decided, you know what, on a Wednesday night, and keep in mind, this is at the time, I have to thank my wife. We had a 1-year-old and a 6-month-old basically at the time. And I'm like, hey, I'm going on a Wednesday night to New York to run track with these kids. So we just went up there to run the 4x4. That's all we did at the Eastern State Championships. And they blistered another school record time at 3:26. For those of you who understand track, the splits were 51:49 for Brian, Stephen 51:22, Tyler 52:67, and Karan 50.33. So I challenge anybody here to go to your local track, run a lap. Just one. See if you can get, I don't know, within a minute. I know I can't do it anymore. It was impressive. It was really impressive. And of course, they finished the indoor season by going up to nationals and finishing 16th in the sprint med. Yeah. So outdoor. As we transitioned to outdoor, we had a few major meets on our schedule. Of course, you always have Penn relays. And if anybody's ever been to Penn, it's either 45 and raining or it's like the surface of the sun. Those are your choices. We actually ended up with a really nice day. It was about 70 degrees, kind of breezy. We knew we were in for a good race because our race wasn't until about 11:20, 11:30. The further you go into the meet, the more challenging it is. That's where they put the faster teams. We start to get the Jamaican teams and better teams in the state. So we had a close finish. We finished second, so we didn't quite get the Penn relays wheel. But they did set a new school record of 3:22. And that's when Jim and I and Matt, we looked at each other and go, this is something special. Something's going on here. That's when Stephen ran his first sub-50 split, in which at the time I think he weighed maybe 115 pounds. He's this tiny little, we're like, how did that happen? This makes no sense. Out of the 601 teams there that day, we finished 50th. That's a pretty big deal at the Penn relays. Next up was the county meet. Stephen won the 4, Karan won the 8, Tyler finished 5th in the 8, and the person I'm leaving out, Brian, I remember having a conversation with you in the end zone by the high jump. He says, I think I'm not going to run the open 4, even though I can place, because I want the relay to do well. That's the mentality of that team. That relay meant everything to them. And it also meant we took down Trenton that day. So, thank you. And what's great about that is Jim Furtek was just telling me the story. I didn't even know this. Trenton's coach, very famous coach, didn't talk to him for 2 years. Like that was their bread and butter. And to watch Stephen on that last lap, you remember Jermaine Collier trying to hawk you down? He was a 47-point quarter miler. Couldn't catch Stephen that day. So we took that title. So when we're on the sectionals, we're a little banged up. It's towards the end of the season. It happens. Stephen ended up with second in the 4. Karan and Tyler were 4th and 8th in the 800. And again, a 4x4 finished second to Ocean Towns. So it was a good day, but not a great day. We go on to the Group 3 State Championship. Karan takes 4th in the 8, and the 4x4 finished 3rd, which, again, qualifying for the Media Champs is not an easy thing to do. It's the entire state is now showing up. So now we're in June, and we're at the Media Champs. I think it's first Wednesday in June. And you would think at this point, the squad, so Karan's going to run the 8 and then come back for the 4x4. The rest of the guys are just sitting around all day waiting for the 4x4. You would think at this point they would know how to warm up for a track meet. Nope, Matt and I had to yell at these guys from the stand, like, go warm up. So we sent them down there like an hour early, whatever it is. They're finally down there, and they're doing all their drills, and they're doing all their actives, they're warming up, they're warming up, they're warming up. And again, we've never seen them really go after it this much, which was great. So they go out and they run an incredible 3:17.68. Steven anchoring in a 48.1. It was, yeah, it was incredible. So we said, hey, let's go to nationals. So I say to my poor wife, I'm like, by the way, I'm going to drive down to North Carolina the day after graduation. I get my check, and I'm like, all right, gotta go. Leaving her behind with 2 kids. We got to Greensboro, North Carolina. Again, another meet where you're on the surface of the sun. And as their final hurrah, they're all Americans. They finished 6th in the sprint mid. Karan anchors in a 1:52.5. It was an incredible day, and we couldn't have been more proud of them. And then we had to drive home, like immediately. I don't think we got back to the school until about 1, 2 in the morning. Poor Nancy Foss couldn't keep up with my driving. A lot of shenanigans. So, again, it's truly amazing to see these boys back together after 15 years. And I was thinking about it on the way up. The age they are now is the age I was when I was coaching them. Because now I have an 18-year-old and a 16-year-old. And they've got kids, so I think they're like creating a relay. I'm not quite sure what they're doing, but again, they may be in their 30s, and some with wives and children. But again, I'm always going to remember them as the relay. So Karan, Tyler, Brian, so Stephen, congratulations on this well-deserved honor. I look forward to seeing your plaques unveiled tonight. Thank you. I think Karan is going to speak on behalf of the relay.
All righty. Good afternoon, people. Well, first off, just thank you all for being here today. It's a tremendous honor to be inducted as a member of the 4x4 relay team. I mean, who thought running in circles would lead to this, right? So as I look back on our journey, I'm reminded of the grit and the determination that defined our team. So as you heard from the stories, the 4x4, it's not just a race, it's speed, it's strategy, it's teamwork. So each leg required us to push our limits and come together as a unit to really ultimately reach success. So I want to give a special shout out to my teammates, Brian Sheehan, Tyler Foss, Stephen LaSalle. Yeah, you guys brought your A game every day, and it was our hard work and commitment that made us All-Americans. So I'll never forget the times that we had, both on the track and off the track, #WeGlobal. Huge thank you to our coaches, Tom McCafferty, Jim Furtek, Matt Dershowitz. Your belief in us really pushed us to achieve more than we ever thought was imaginable. So, and to our families and friends, your support was crucial. You encouraged us. You were there to tell us to keep going on the hard days. So we thank you for that. And yeah, this induction is a celebration of our hard work and shared experiences. So with that, let's continue to inspire the future athletes to chase their dreams. Thank you. All right, and the rest of the relay team, if you guys would come up here really quick, because, we got to do that. Oh. Coaches as well, please.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, buddy. Thanks, man. Thanks.
That was a good speech. Yeah. Second time?
Yeah.
The second speech.
I didn't write it the first time.
Okay, guys,
In the front? All right. I was like, there's no way wrong with doing this thing.
Okay, just get in line so they can get a picture, and then we'll give you the bag. Take it back here. Don't go anywhere. Take your bag.
Coach. Yep. Coach Furtek. Coach McCaffrey.
I would like to say something about a person that I had not mentioned yet. Shelley Lightman is at the table over here for 30, well, maybe 20, but maybe somewhere between 20 and 30. She's been doing these beautiful flowers for these, but she donates for each of the inductees that part of the flowers. And she's been doing this for a long time. She has several kids that went to high school and played sports, so she's sort of a ram at heart. But I finally said, you have to come. You have to finally come. So she did, but I really appreciate all she's done over the years. Okay, our first individual inductee is Larry Bird. And before I tell you, well, his son is going to talk about it, but Larry played on 2 of Russ Ballew's state championship teams. That tells you how old he is, too. No. But that's from 1959. But 2 state championship teams. How many people can say they have been on 2 state championship teams? Okay, his son, Ethan Bird, you're going to come tell us about your dad.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I was reminded earlier, before I get into a little bit of a speech about my father, one of his friends is sitting at the table that played baseball with my father when he was younger and used to drag his gloves to the field. That I know this is a Hightstown event, but my father's a Cranberry boy. So grew up on the back streets of Cranberry as well. So very proud to be doing this for him today. So, all right. So today I've been given the honor and opportunity to introduce my father as a new member of the HHS Hall of Fame. My father played in an era before helicopter parents, private sports lessons, and personal video cameras. So my earliest memories of my father's knowledge and skill about the game of baseball came as a bat boy for the youth teams he coached in the Mercer County area in the early 70s. Some very good teams, by the way. I was always extremely impressed by his coaching, but had no tangible information or knowledge about his time as a player. One day I was looking through some old scrapbooks my mother had collected and saw varsity high school sports images of my father playing baseball, soccer, and basketball. Pretty impressive. In this book, I also noticed a letter written by a scout from the St. Louis Cardinals. Again, my father never talked much or bragged much about his athletic ability, but to see that and see the letter from the scout, very impressive. This was my first exposure that my father excelled at athletics, especially baseball. As a teenager, I finally got to see his skill and competitive nature when he played for a softball team with guys over 50. His love of baseball and drive to win was apparent to me as he coached young athletes and eventually myself in Little League. I am proud to be standing here to acknowledge you and share your legacy with this group, Dad. Thank you.
I got a catalog here, so get ready. Good morning, everybody. As introduced, my name is Larry Bird. I am a former Cranberry resident and a graduate of Hightstown High School, class of 1959. Today, I am here, 66 years later, a grumpy, older man, not old, but older man. But a happy, grumpy, older man, because it gives me the opportunity to thank my friends and family, excuse me, for their gracious letters of recommendation that they presented to the committee to nominate me for the Hall of Fame. It is because of these letters that the Hall of Fame committee reviewed my records and extended an invitation to become a member of the Hall of Fame. A recommendation or an invitation that I graciously accepted. It is an honor to be here with my former teammates and friends to discuss past memories, honoring our school colors, and rehashing life experiences. The booklet provided today best describes my high school athletic involvement and my acknowledgments, so I would like to offer this in place of that, please. The sports I played at Hightstown, baseball, soccer, and basketball, provided me with many challenges and great satisfaction. It offered companionship, and it kept me active and out of trouble most of the time. It is fitting and proper that I recall my coaches and teachers, many of whom have passed away. I am grateful for their guidance and the support they gave me. I will never forget them. They were the best. May they rest in peace. To my fellow athletes, I want to say thank you for the memories. It was an honor to help play ball with you. And those who are here today, it's great to be back and seated again to talk about old times. To the other inductees who are also being honored here today, I share your joy. Congratulations to all of you. To the student athletes who are here today as guests of the Hall of Fame, I would like to offer this thought. I have found that after having played sports and thinking back, I realized that a lot of satisfaction can be experienced as a result of sharing our knowledge and time with younger players, and then seeing them grow in their skills and develop as they get older. Today, I observe that some of these younger players that I and my teammates allowed to get in the game at a younger age are present here today and are inductees into the Hall of Fame. How nice is that? If you keep your eye on the ball and stay in the game, God willing, you may find yourself in the same situation and feeling the same satisfaction in the future. Best wishes for your future endeavors. Thank you all, and God bless. Thank you.
I know some of his teammates are here. Could you stand if you played with him? Did you play with him? Okay. Okay, we're moving into the 80s. Now, everybody knows the sports at Hightstown High School in the 80s were some of the best. Right? All you people that were in the 80s? Come on. Trish, right? Okay. So we have a 1988 state champion high jumper. Joe Cullen will be introduced by Tim Brennan, a teammate. Oh, you're behind me.
I'm all ready. Good afternoon. My name is Tim Brennan, and I'm a teacher, so I brought some props. if I'll leave this against the wall, and I'll just start off with, this is 6 feet 8 inches, and this is what Joe jumped over. And when you stand next to this little blue thing, you go, holy cow, he got his entire body over that many, many times. Tried to hit 6'10", but I'm going to leave this here for a second and then grab my phone. Give me 30 seconds to open up my notes here. All right. So you can look inside the program and see his accomplishments, but what you don't see in that write-up is Joe showed up to every practice and every meet with a smile. He introduced himself to everybody, and this was sometimes his psychological edge. Everybody loved him. And he was a fierce competitor. He killed them with kindness before the competition and psychological warfare. He did something that I've never seen. I've been a coach of track and field for 34 years now. He would start jumping off his non-dominant foot. He would beat everybody and then start jumping off of his good foot. And everybody was like, what's he doing switching legs? This just never happens. He long jumped, he hurdled. In addition to high jumping, he was 2-time Mercer County champion, 87 and 89, Central Jersey state champion. He was also the Eastern state champion at 6 foot 6 inches indoors. That's Maine to Virginia. To give you an idea of how good he was, there are only 41 jumpers in the history of New Jersey to clear 6'8". And you've got one of them sitting right in the room. Joe, 2 other things happened. We actually got newspaper articles, and before everything was digital. And this is the proof that he jumped 6'8". And this was the newspaper article, Cullen claims state title. So it's kind of cool to look back almost 40 years and be able to pull up the newspaper articles. And I brought these, and Joe goes, no, I actually have them. And then the last thing is, this was a trophy which is now one of the oldest relay meets in the country, run over at Lawrenceville Prep School. And Joe and I won this on a relay together as high jumpers. He jumped a foot higher than I did, but we still won this. And this is when you won a trophy, not for participation, because you actually won something. So this is a really nice trophy. The plaque is falling off. The glue wasn't that great, but it's there. And then my last notes are this. Joe's made friends with everybody. You've made a champion out of yourself and a champion of everybody that surrounded you on that team. So I want to just say thank you for allowing me to introduce you. And the last thing is, if you look back at the national championships, which Joe did not go to, the internet didn't exist then, of course, so coaches weren't as in the loop as they could have been or should have been or are now. Not blaming any coaches, but Joe would have placed and been All-American last year with his jump of 6'8". And he would have been 6th in the United States if he had gone to the national championships indoors. And if you looked at his thing, he broke his collarbone just the first couple of weeks in the indoor season or outdoor season. So, Joe, turn it over to you.
Thank you, Timmy. First and foremost, I want to thank everybody for coming here. I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, for this blessed moment. I also want to thank the committee, Charlie, Jeannie. We've been communicating forever, and she works so hard at this, and I know you all do, and I'm so humbled by the honor to stand before you. It was a lot of fun, as Timmy expressed, but it was also a lot of work. A lot of early mornings, getting up and running before the bus. A lot of sacrifices. I had some great mentors in my life, and my father was one of them. From the moment of 6th grade when I started high jumping to, he just figured, hey, there's something good here. He started taking me to track meets when I was 14 and 15, for all you younger athletes here, and to compete against kids your own age across the country and up and down the East Coast to see where you're really at. So we determined where we really were. My father always told me, and this goes out to the young people here too, God-given ability will get you so far. Dedication, determination, and hard work will get you to great places. I don't know if you know about this, but the average high jumper is about 6'4", 6'5". I'm about 5'10", 5'11". So I was a little short on the stick there. But having that said, I just want to thank everybody for coming out, thanking my family for being here, and thanking my coach, Ray Britton, my teammates, What a great experience it was. 37 years later, I'm standing here. My record still stands by the grace of God. But I just feel so blessed to be here. And I just want to share something with the young athletes real quick. This is a great quote from Nick Saban. I don't know if anybody knows who Nick Saban is. What discipline really means: doing what needs to be done when it needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not, especially when you don't feel like it. Discipline isn't punishment or restriction. It's freedom from your weaker self. It's choosing your long-term goals and commitments over your short-term feelings. It's betting on your future self every single day. Motivation may start things, but discipline definitely finishes them. So my advice is, if you're going to make a commitment to something, don't halfway do it. Don't tip your foot in the pool. Don't dip your toe in the pool. Dive in. Because two things are going to happen. If you dive in, you go through it, you get on the other side, you're going to figure out, hey, you know what? I dove in, I did the work, I did everything, and it's for me. Or you're going to find out, hey, I dove in, I did the work, and hey, that's definitely not for me. But either way, you know, the not knowing and the not committing, that's the stuff that keeps people up at night. I like to sleep at night. So I always put my best foot forward, and whatever I'm committed to, I do 110%. So that's the best advice I can give to you. I thank everybody for coming out. Thank my family. I love you guys so much. Chuck, you've been such an inspiration for me. And my dad, I love him so much. He couldn't make it from Florida for health reasons, but I love you, Dad. And thanks again, everybody, for having me, and God bless.
Okay, we're moving into the 90s. We're starting off with 1992 with Ron Bromberg and his coach, Bob Grunstrom, will be introducing you to him a little bit about ice hockey.
Thank you, Gene. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Bob Grunstrom. I coached ice hockey between 85 and 95. 30 years ago. It's awfully hard to believe that time has gone so much. It's really great to come here. I see some familiar faces. Can you hear me? I see some familiar coaches, but like I said, it's been 30 years. On my way up, I was thinking, Ronnie, his nickname, we used to call him Boomer. But you're not the only boomer here. I'm also a boomer. I'm a real boomer, though. Not that I want to admit to that anyway. My daughter Erica sends her best. My daughter, she was like the team mascot. She's 8 years old at the time. She was practically in every team picture we had when it came to the end of the season. And for some reason, she had a crush on you. I find that hard to believe. I don't know. What was the magic? I don't know. That's true, you did. Let me get my glasses out here. My printer broke at home, so I had to write some of this down, and my handwriting is not as well, and Sister Mary Joseph would not be happy with it, I'm sure of that. It's been quite a while, 30 years ago since I last coached. That's hard to imagine. I was honored when Ron asked me if I could introduce him on receiving this Hall of Fame recognition. Being recognized is quite an achievement, and I was very proud of Boomer getting bestowed this honor that he truly deserves. I believe this award is more than just solely based on an athlete's achievements. It goes beyond. Without the support of his family and the many sacrifices they made, just getting to and from those 5 a.m. practices, and not to mention the financial commitments, in many ways it belongs to them as well. I know his family is here today, and there is one person who is not, and that is his mom. Ann was probably his biggest fan, and I know she is here with you today. She was the original hockey mom. And I remember she always wore a pendant that said #1 hockey mom. I think most coaches would agree that freshman athletes really are not expected to play much. They generally need more time to develop. Well, Boomer was one of the rare athletes that demonstrated early on to become an exception to that rule. Since it's been 33 years since he graduated, It was hard for me to recall specific achievements. Despite my many senior moments, one came to mind. It was a state game where we played a team from North New Jersey, and I believe it was Paramus Catholic, as Ron mentioned there. Anyway, the game went to a shootout, and I had to select 3 players. I remember only 2 of them, and one was David Smith, who was also a Hall of Famer and an All-State athlete. The other was, guess who? The skinny little freshman. Boomer was only a freshman, but he showed me enough during the season that he was up to the task. We lost the game, but Boomer showed his skill by scoring the only goal for Hightstown. When he graduated, he was selected first team All-County, All-State, team captain, team MVP, and at the time, he was also Hightstown's all-time leading scorer. It is my pleasure to introduce Ron Boomer Bromberg to be the most recent ice hockey athlete inducted into Hightstown High School. Thank you.
That's a tough one. Thank you for allowing me to be here today. First, I'd like to thank Principal Vincent, Jeannie Heikes, as well as the rest of the Hightstown High School Hall of Fame Committee for making the incredible day possible and truly a special moment for my family I will never forget. In addition to Dave Gorner, the voice of Hightstown, who has been a friend and fan of mine and who has been an ambassador of my high school hockey career for more than 30 years. Your loyalty will never be forgotten. Of course, to all my teammates that I was blessed to play with during my 4 years at Hightstown High School, we had so many moments to remember, whether at practices, games, bus rides, and celebrations. Those memories will last a lifetime. And a huge congratulations to the other athletes who are being inducted today and those in the crowd who were inducted in years past. It truly is an honor to now be part of this wonderful family. When Jeannie first called to let me know that I would finally be inducted into the Hall of Fame, she let me know that I could choose one person to introduce me today. The obvious would be to choose one of my parents, a sibling, a spouse, a former teammate, or a best friend. I went a completely different route by choosing my high school ice hockey coach, Bob Grunstrom, who just spoke. Coach Grunstrom is one who early on in my life took a chance on me as just a 14-year-old freshman and gave me a spot on the varsity team. That doesn't happen often, but I guess he liked what he saw. It was surreal as it was intimidating, taking the ice or bus rides to games several days a week with teammates that were either twice my size or even 3 to 4 years older than me, and most of them even had facial hair before me. While I knew that I would be able to blend right in as a player, Coach didn't just throw me in the mix and take away playing time for another player that had already been on the team in prior years. He made me earn it. When he did give me those subtle moments of ice time in my freshman year, I made the most of it, not only by scoring goals here and there, but scoring multiple goals in multiple games at times. From there, I began to earn the support and respect of my teammates and started my legacy at Hightstown High School begun. One of my most memorable moments in my entire high school ice hockey career wasn't the scoring records, CVC or Mercer County championships, leading our team to the first ever New Jersey State Ice Hockey Tournament win in Hightstown High School history, the All-State recognition, or being named captain in consecutive years. The moment I'm referencing came when I was, again, just a freshman. It was like Coach said, first New Jersey State Tournament game on the road versus Paramus Catholic. The hard-fought battle ended in a tie in regulation, and no goals were scored by either heading into overtime. The game went to a shootout. While huddled as a team, I always remember Coach Grunstrom started to call out the 3 players who would participate in the shootout. One of those names called out was Bromberg. When I heard that, I was in complete shock, and I looked around, and I could tell most of the rest of the team were shocked also. In any case, the 2 other players had their chance taking their shots, only to be saved or shot wide. It was my turn. My legs felt like jello, and I looked down at the opposing goaltender while also seeing my dad positioned directly behind the net as I was about to approach. I was able to deke the goalie and score our only goal in the shootout that game. We lost 2-1, but it was from there where I really learned how much trust that coach had in me as a player. Thank you, Coach, for that memory and many more memories we made together over the course of my 4 years on the team that I'll never forget. I'd also like to thank my dad and my sister. Starting at just the age of 4, they both were always so supportive of me. My career spending most of their free time and a lot of money at freezing cold ice hockey rinks or traveling to tournaments far, far away and staying in hotels on the weekends. It's humbling to know what we have created, so many memories and met so many great people along the way because of my hockey career, and to this day, that we'll all still be able to talk about all of them from time to time. Hockey has been a large portion of our lives, and I believe it has been a big impact on all of us. A shout out to the rest of my support system who never knew me as a hockey player and unfortunately weren't able to see any of my magical moments as a hockey player in high school or college. My wife Lauren, my father-in-law Gary, my mother-in-law Joan, and my three beautiful children, Zach, Devin, and Piper, who's my dog, by the way, who they unfortunately couldn't be here today. You would also have been proud and impressed watching me on the ice and all the ice hockey accolades and accomplishments I had received then. And finally, I want to dedicate today and my Hall of Fame induction to my mom, who was my ultimate hockey mom my entire life. She unfortunately passed away over 2.5 years ago, and I was always waiting for this moment to finally come for me. She was as well. This is the pin she wore in her jacket throughout my career. She also gave up all of her free time, money. She never missed a game. She made sure I was at every practice or game when my dad was unable to take me with, and she always rooted and shouted out proudly in the stands with all of my friends. She didn't miss anything. I know she's with us today, proudly looking down at the fruits and labor that came out of all of her work and dedication into my hockey career and in my life in general. I love you, Mom. Thank you.
Okay, we're still in the 90s. 1993, Adam Rush played soccer with my son, both in the goalpost. He did one half, my son did the other. But he seems to be really strong at baseball. So a teammate of his is going to come up, Dave Gorner, and tell you a little bit about him.
This is much harder than announcing the football games. Much, much harder. Good afternoon. My name is David Gorner. I would like to personally congratulate all the members of the Hightstown High School Hall of Fame class of 2025. I would also like to personally thank Pied Piper Preschool for introducing me to Dr. Adam Rosh and putting us in the same playgroup. Our friendship goes back to 1978. It's a long time ago. And as we grew older, I was fortunate enough to be there for almost every game or match that Adam played during high school. Growing up, Adam was by far and away the best at every sport or game we played. He was bigger, faster, and stronger. We spent every summer from the age of 8 to 18. Started off as age 8 on the Norelco Astros, and a teammate of ours was Ronnie Bromberg. I have seen firsthand some of Adam's incredible athletic feats, from being the best at tetherball player at a Happy Time Day Camp and nobody willing to play against him, to some of the longest home runs I've ever seen hit. The long home run at Hancock Field to dead center over the 370 sign that knocked down a tree. The home run he hit at South Trenton Babe Ruth as a 15-year-old over the 400-foot sign. When I go there with my summer team, kids still don't believe me that a 15-year-old hit the ball that far. And the best one, in a Legion playoff game, Adam was in a slump, so he decided to hit lefty. The first pitch he saw, he hit a home run. He's never hit lefty before. Crazy, right? During our junior season at Hightstown High School, Adam stepped up and had one of the best games in Hightstown High School history. He pitched and beat nationally ranked Steiner. Steiner was ranked 3 in the country and finished that year 31-1. Their only loss to Adam at Hightstown High School. These are all memories that I will take with me forever and things we talk about frequently, and they're special to me. But something the last 3 years has happened that means the world to me. I've had the privilege of traveling the country with Adam and his family, coaching a team that Adam started, the Salt Lake Stars. These times together have been incredible and some of the best experiences of my life. Not only because we get to do what we love to do and once again share a baseball field, but more importantly for the time I get to spend with you and your family. The long talks over dinners where we eat a lot and you spend a fortune, the long car rides, the trips to Vegas, These have been priceless memories, and I will cherish them forever. Not only is Adam deserving of his place in the Hightstown Hall of Fame and long overdue, but he is the best friend I will ever have, and I love him and appreciate every kind gesture and everything he's ever done for me. Congratulations, my friend.
All right. Thank you, Dave. And I can't, Dave was nervous about that, but I'll tell you what, the guy nailed it. He's the voice of Hightstown. And there's a few things that I'll end up repeating because they were so prominent in our lives. They deserve a second mention. But to start, I want to sincerely thank Jeannie Heikes and the entire Hall of Fame committee for your dedication to this event, for the honor it bestows on each of us. And what you've created here is something rare. It's a living, breathing culture of gratitude and legacy that keeps Hightstown High School athletics alive long after the final whistle. I spent a lot of time thinking about what I wanted to say today, probably more time on this speech than any other assignment I turned in while I was a student at Hightstown High School. But I come from a Hightstown High School family. My sister Felicia, who's sitting over here sitting at table 10, she was a standout in softball and tennis and graduated in 1986. My sister Jennifer, a standout in tennis, graduated in 1988. So our family paid attention to Hightstown High School sports. We were in the stands. We watched the games. And one of those moments has stayed with me ever since. And I want to take you back to 1985. I'm 9 years old, sitting in the stands at the Mercer County Tournament Finals, watching the high school baseball team play for the title. I remember the energy. I remember the win. And I remember walking out of that ballpark thinking only one thing. One day I will play for Hightstown baseball. One day I will be out on that field wearing that jersey, playing in front of everyone in those stands. And while the whole team inspired me that night, there was one player in particular who stayed with me. Behind the plate was Ed Horowitz, number 7, the same number my son wears. See, Ed doesn't know this, but he inspired me to excel. He inspired me to dream big in baseball. He was the example I carried with me and the reminder of what I wanted to become. And years later, when I actually stepped onto those fields as a player, I realized just how much that moment in the stands shaped me. So now as I turn 50 this year, it's funny how memory works at this age. There are some things that fade, maybe on purpose, but others feel like they're etched in stone. And there are a few moments from my time at Hightstown High School that have stayed with me. And at the time, I didn't know that they were lessons. But looking back now, I can see how much they shaped who I've become in the 32 years since I graduated. Here's one. This past June, I ran into Matt Schilling in Omaha, Nebraska. See, Matt was inducted in the Hall of Fame in 2012 and was probably one of the best all-around athletes Hightstown High School has ever seen. Matt is now an assistant coach for the Coastal Carolina baseball team. He is also one of the coaches who got tossed from Game 2 of the College World Series this past June, which is a badge of honor. Hightstown pride right there. But back in 1990, Matt had just graduated from Hightstown High School. He was the goalie for the soccer team, and he was an all-state goalie. And here I was, a sophomore, the new goalie, and filling in some really big shoes. And I'll never forget one of our first games. It was under the lights away at Toms River. They were one of the top teams in the state. I was scared, insecure. I didn't think I belonged. And we lost that game 2-1. On paper, it was a loss. For Coach Wagner, it was gut-wrenching. But for me, it was the most important win of my high school career. Because I remember the defense that night. Gordy Strachan, John Dunham, Vinnie Burgee, and Tom Catiliano. I remember the way they rallied around me, the way they made me feel that I belonged in that goal. They helped me believe in myself. And in life, we will be thrust into moments that make us question ourselves, but we're often more capable than we think. And if we're lucky, the people around us will help us see that. So I learned that on the soccer field in Hightstown High School, and I've carried it with me ever since. And there's another moment I want to tell you about that Dave alluded to. It was my junior year of baseball. We had a good team, talented, but we just couldn't seem to put it all together. Then came the game against Steiner. They were 21-0 at the time, undefeated, the top team in the state, and in New Jersey, that means something. The game was scheduled for a Friday. On the Monday of that week, I woke up with a strange, unshakable belief we were going to beat Steiner. That day at practice, I walked into Coach Mariano's office and asked him to let me pitch against Steiner. And I remember his response. You know, Chach, he laughed. And he thought I was crazy, but he said yes. And the day before the game, towards the end of practice, I called a team meeting. And we all the players walked out to right field. I looked around at my teammates. I told them that we were going to win. Not could win, but would win. And by the end of that meeting, I saw it in their eyes. We all believed we would do it. The next afternoon, we took the field. I started on the mound and gave up a run in the first inning. We're behind 1-0. But in the second inning, Seth Chury tied it with a home run. Then in the decisive fourth inning, we sent 10 batters to the plate and took a 6-1 lead. I hit a home run in the fifth. Dave Cohn hit one in the sixth, and we won 10-3. But we didn't just win. We shocked the state. That day, the Trentonian sports writer Joe Logue called it the greatest victory in Hightstown High School history. I don't know if I agreed with that, but it was some victory. But what I remember the most isn't the score. It's what happened. It's what happens when a group of people truly believes in each other and commits to something that is bigger than themselves. Now, the last story Dave alluded to. It goes back to Pied Piper Nursery School, 1978. This is where I met my first friend, David Gorner. We've been friends for 47 of the 50 years we've been alive. And since we were 7 or 8, Dave and I have met on the baseball diamond as competitors, as teammates, as boys chasing the game we loved. And we stood together as teammates at Hightstown High School. And decades later, Dave would fly out to Salt Lake City, Utah to help me coach the Salt Lake Stars, a youth baseball team that I founded. And with him, my father, Carl, my nephew, Jake, by my side, we built the winningest youth baseball team in the state's history, 180 wins in 3 years. But this, too, isn't about the wins. It's about friendship. It's about loyalty. It's about what begins at Hightstown High School and stays with you for life. And Dave is just one of many Hightstown High School friends who still walk with me. They are part of who I am. And when I look back now, the championships don't shine as bright as the people who took the journey with me. Titles are what we accomplished, but the bonds are what remain. The human connections. So to the students who are here tonight, chase the wins, aim for the titles. But when you're older, you'll find that what matters most are the relationships, the community, the people who walk beside you. And finally, I want to thank my father, Carl Rosh, who actually served as an assistant coach for the baseball team my junior year. My father was the one who came home from work after a long day in New York City, exhausted, and still had a catch with me in the backyard. He's the one who pitched me batting practice on Saturday afternoons and chased all of the balls in the outfield. The one who gave up his evenings and weekends so that I could chase my dreams. And now watching my own kids, Ruby and Reese, train and compete, do I truly understand what he gave me? So let's come full circle. Back to 1985. To a Hightstown High School baseball game, to Ed Horowitz behind the plate. See, back then, he didn't know the impact he had on a 9-year-old in the stands. And that's the lesson. That's the lesson for all of us. We never know who is watching, who we are inspiring, whose life we may be shaping. Because this past spring, my phone rang, and I answered. And on the other end was Ed Horowitz letting me know that I was being inducted into the Hightstown High School Hall of Fame. Well, you could imagine what that moment meant. Thank you, Hightstown High School. It's good to be home. You get a photo?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
And for those of you who don't know or realize, if you look in your book at the very first class of Hall of Famers, Ed Horowitz is one of those 7 names. And that story of Adam saying he was inspired by them, that's happened with other people that were sitting where the students are saying, I want to be there someday. And they're, 10 years later, they're up here saying, I came to one of these. And I can tell you 2 field hockey players, but I won't go into that. Okay, so we're now moving out of the 90s into 2000. And we're up to 2015. In 2015, we had some tennis superstar as a freshman at Hightstown High School, and she's going to be introduced by her coach. Somebody took my sheet. Chip. Did you take my sheet, Adam? Okay. That's okay, I knew. I knew it was Chip. Okay, thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm Chip. I coach Sneha. I'd like to start off by beginning and congratulating all of the players and their families who have been inducted into the Athletic Hall of Fame today. This is truly a special honor and reflects not only the outstanding athletic achievement, but also the hard work, dedication, and support of the loved ones that you've heard about from all the people who have come up, but also I'd like to acknowledge Sneha's parents and family who have always been there and supported her throughout her whole tennis journey. I still remember my first season as head coach, hearing the buzz about a remarkably talented freshman who would be joining our team. From the very moment Sneha stepped onto the court, it was clear that she possessed something extraordinary. Her dedication, competitive spirit, and genuine love for the game shone through immediately. She didn't just play tennis, she embodied what it means to be a committed athlete and a true teammate. What made Sneha's journey even more impressive was her ability to balance the demands of athletics and a very rigorous academic schedule. She attended the Health Science Academy, fully aware of her passion for the medical field and her goal to pursue a career in pediatric dermatology. Managing such a challenging academic load alongside the pressure of being the team's top singles player was very challenging and required incredible discipline and time management, qualities she displayed with grace throughout her high school career. Sneha quickly became a role model, inspiring those around her by showing them that a high level of tennis excellence was achievable with hard work and dedication. Her presence on the team challenged not only her peers, but me as a coach. I realized very early on, having a player of her caliber meant that I needed to raise the bar for myself, to grow, adapt, and to be the kind of coach who could continue to push and support her to reach her fullest potential. So thank you for making me a better coach. Tennis is a unique sport in that players are often responsible for making their own line calls and officiating their matches. This responsibility can lead to tense moments and disagreements out on the court. This can be especially frustrating for a freshman stepping into that first singles position. Yet time and time again, she would display remarkable maturity and keep her composure and focus through these challenging times. I recall one particular intense match where tensions were very high on both sides of the court, but she was able to stay calm and not only was able to earn the win, but the admiration of her opponent and coaches alike. Sneha's outstanding performance and unwavering dedication didn't just win matches. They helped shape the culture of Hightstown tennis and left a lasting positive impact that continued to inspire players for years. It is with great pride and heartfelt admiration that I welcome Dr. Sneha Rangu into our Athletic Hall of Fame, a recognition truly deserving of her talent, character, and the incredible legacy she has created here. Congratulations and thank you for showing us all what it means to strive for excellence on and off the court.
Good afternoon, everybody. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the committee for this great honor and for their selection, and a special thank you to Jeannie for all the wonderful work she did behind the scenes to put on this event for all of us today. And thank you, Roar, for your kind words. When I think about mentors I've had throughout my whole life, you're definitely somebody that comes to mind first. You truly embody what it means to be a true mentor, not only a coach, and it's not just the tactics that you've taught me throughout the years or the advice that you've given me during my matches. It's your support, especially when I doubted myself, that really has stood with me throughout the years. I also want to thank my mom and dad for being my biggest cheerleaders in life. They spent countless hours after working long days, using their free time on weekends to support me and my dreams of, playing tennis. My mom especially, I'll never forget her superstitions during my matches. For example, there's this specific pole at Mercer County Park, and during all my high school matches, she would stand next to it for good luck. I'm not really sure why, but somehow it worked, and here we are today. And just going off of that, tennis has been a family affair for all of us. My dad played for years. My sister played tennis at Hightstown High School. My uncle, who's here today, also plays tennis, and it's really something that's brought us closer together. I think similar to what a lot of people have shared today, tennis, it's more than just the accolades and the achievements. It's really taught me a lot of valuable life lessons to never give up, to keep fighting. And these are all values that I've really carried with me throughout just both my academic and professional life. And I can't end this speech without talking about the best part of my athletic journey. That's the special bond that I share with my father. He was the first person to introduce me to tennis, and he actually taught me at the very courts at Hightstown High School, which is now a parking lot, but it looked very different 10 years ago. We would practice before the sun came up, before he had to go to work, and before I had to go to school. And there were some moments where we would be in the car going back home and we wouldn't talk to each other, but looking back, those are memories that have stayed with me throughout my life. And he never missed a match during high school, never missed a match during college, and since then we've continued to share some special memories, watching our favorite tennis player Nadal play, or even battling it out on the courts well after my athletic career in high school. So just wanted to say a special thanks to him. And I think tennis especially is largely viewed as an individual sport, and up until high school, tournaments were largely just you playing against other people, and I think stepping into high school and just being a part of a team really showed me how to make these lifelong friendships and connections through sports. And those are just memories that I'll cherish forever. And to the younger generation, I encourage you to hold on to these special moments with others and just your ability to fight back when things seem difficult and impossible as life progresses. And just to end, I would like to thank everybody for listening. Thank you to my parents, my fiance, my uncle, Coach Rohr, for all coming here to support me. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.
Thank you. Wait, she's taking a picture of you. Of you. Okay, just a little extra information. If you haven't been to the school lately, the tennis courts aren't in the same place. And for the old timers, they're back to where they used to be. Second thing you should know that Sneha is only the second female tennis player in the Hall of Fame. The other one is Carrie Balcom, who was a state champ back in the 70s. There should be more. Come on, coaches. You should be nominating people. Okay, we are moving 3 years later, past 2015. We are now up to 2018. And we have the youngest inductee to be chosen for the Hall of Fame going in. And it seems quite appropriate because she has 13 school records, and most of them are, she's broken her own record so many times. She is a swimmer, and her coach, Cheryl O'Connor, will introduce Allie McDade. For those that don't know Cheryl, she is a character.
My tissues. Okay, my glasses. Good afternoon. I'm OC. It is such an honor and pleasure to introduce this next legend of an athlete who was pretty ramrific here at HHS in the sport of swimming. She has set the bar high by making school history and has inspired other swimmers to do the same. But before I tell you a little bit more about Allie McDade's hard work, dedication, and accomplishments, I would like to congratulate all the inductees of the 31st Hall of Fame class for making a difference in their sports. To the Hall of Fame committee, I thank you for putting on such a lovely affair each and every year. And a special thanks goes out to the following people for their role they played in Allie's swimming journey. First, Mr. and Mrs. McDade, for raising such an amazing person, student, and athlete, for their help and support during Allie's swim career at HHS. I appreciate all your hard work and dedication. Next, the petty coaches, especially Greg, for giving Allie such a solid swimming foundation and preparing her with the necessary tools to be such a fierce competitor, not only in her high school career, but in college too. Allie attended a D1 swim program at LSU, where I had the opportunity to watch her compete against Navy, one of my proudest moments as a coach. To see your athlete so successful is priceless. And last and certainly not least, Chip Rohr, my assistant coach, for all his help and dedication in mentoring our swimmers. As the saying goes, it takes a village. Well, it certainly does. Now, a little story. I will never forget the time Jim Pito was present for our Mercer County Swim Tournament, where he witnessed our second place finish as Allie McDade got swimmer of the meet and won 4 gold medals. He was beaming with Ram pride, and so was I. The Ram hat came off as the crowd was cheering with Ram spirit. They were so behind us because we were the underdogs for 30 years until Allie put Hightstown girls swimming team back on the map with her leadership, pride, and competitive spirit, and I thank her for that. It was an amazing journey. Allie broke 7 out of the 11 school records. She might have broke a total of 13, but some of them were her records, continuing. And 6 of those records still stand today, which is so amazing. And that's in the 3 relays, her 3 individual events, the 200 IM, the 400 free, and the 100 breaststroke, which is her signature event, as I call it. She continued to break them, like I said, all 4 years. She was a member of the 100-point club, all CVC, all team, all this, all that. And the META champion, she took 3rd and 4th in the 100 breaststroke in her junior and senior year. I am so proud of Allie McDay for what she has accomplished as a swimmer, but more importantly, as a person of good character and perseverance. She has come a long way from that shy little freshman to a wonderful, successful young lady here today. I am so happy and excited to introduce to you Allie McDay, 2025 Hall of Fame inductee. Woo! Go Rams! And I didn't cry. Almost.
Hello, everyone. First, I want to start off by congratulating all the other inductees. Y'all are a group of some amazing individuals, and I'm really proud to be recognized with all of you guys today. And thank you to the committee for this honor and acknowledging not just this moment, but all the memories and growth that led up to it. Swimming taught me a lot about discipline, perseverance, and showing up even when it's hard. But the most important thing that I think I got out of it was introducing me to a community that shaped who I am. I want to start by thanking my family for being my support system, and your encouragement through every season made all the difference. I couldn't have done what I did without you. To my teammates, you made the work worth it. We pushed each other, celebrated together, and built a connection that extended far beyond the pool. I'm really proud of everything that we accomplished together, and I'm really grateful for the friendships we built along the way. To my coaches, I want to start by thanking OC for all the wonderful things you just had to say. Thank you for your guidance, your patience, and your belief in me. You challenged me to grow, not just as an athlete, but as an individual, and I carry those lessons with me every day. And I do want to take a moment to honor someone who means so much to all of us, Mr. Pito, our athletic director. His dedication to Hightstown athletics and his belief in me and every student athlete left a lasting legacy. I know he's smiling today, proud of what our community continues to achieve. And to all the student athletes here today, I encourage you to make the most out of every workout, every competition, and every challenge. Know that it's shaping you into something greater. Lean into all the hard moments, step up when it counts, and trust what you're building now. Your grit, your confidence, and your character will carry you far beyond the field or pool. Thank you to everyone who's been part of this journey and who made today possible. I'm really proud to be a Ram, and I'm honored to be part of this tradition.
Bag is for you.
So much.
I swim laps at Petty in the morning, and her name's even on their record boards. Okay, we're down to our last group, which is back into the past again, 1976. The girls state Group 2 state championship relay team. The team will be introduced by Margaret McCormick. Who is one of the runners, and she also played field hockey for me.
Remember everyone You set the bar for coaching. Thanks very much. Can everybody hear me? Okay, great. When Joanne and Mary Lee, who's in Italy, and Ellen, who's in Telluride, and Joanne and I talked about what to say today, it was very clear that there really was only one thing to say, and it was to acknowledge our coach, Mr. Dempsey Dixon. He only coached us for 4 years. This was in the beginning of track at Hightstown. But he contributed so much to the success of the team and to our lives as individuals. For me, he entered my life at the end of freshman year. And it's a time when many teenagers are looking for mentors. I was certainly looking for something to pour myself into and to work really hard at. And he came along at the right time. And it all worked out really well. We ran with Mr. Dixon. When the sun rose in the morning really early because of the humidity, he would often pick us up. In the winter, we ran in the cold, outside, in our long underwear, which we were not allowed to wash until the end of the season. That was his rule. Mr. Dixon was an amazing person. He had pride, he had style, and he had a sense of humor that he shared with all of us. He had complete confidence in us, and we owe all of our success to him. And I thank you very much, and happy to be here, and delighted to see old friends again. Thank you. I think I get to introduce Joanne, who is a fellow neighbor from Cranberry and one of the teammates on the relay team. Thank you.
Fun story for Margaret and I. When I was in 7th grade at Cranberry Elementary School, and we were just talking about this, when Cranberry used to go to Hightstown High School, Margaret was in 8th grade, and there was an annual track and field day at Cranberry Elementary School every year. It was a big doggone deal. And we were on the relay team together, and our team won that day. And Margaret made a comment to me about, I hope we get to run again together. And little did we know we would spend 4 years together running the mile relay. I thought I was really slick in passing off the acceptance of the team to Mary Lee Demotz because she was unable to attend her own individual induction, and she called me and said she was sadly not going to be able to attend, and would I speak for her. So of course I said that I would, and here we are. She was honored, wanted to make sure to thank everyone, and she said, "Thank you. I am honored to accept this award for the girls' mile relay team of 1976 that holds a record for Hightstown High School that still stands today." That's 49 years. I'm sorry not to be there in person because this means a great deal to me. I would have loved to see my friends. Our coach, Dempsey Dixon, believed in us and pushed us to excel. On his own time and money, he took us to track meets up and down the East Coast. We ran in Harlem, West Point, and at as many AAU meets as we could manage. My teammates were Ellen Bradley, a senior, who had run with the boys' team before there even was a girls' team, Margaret McCormick, a junior, and Joanne Fennedy, a sophomore. Not only were they all very fast, they were also very good students. I was just a freshman. They had a huge positive influence on me, not to mention them being a little scary. Mary Lee told me, we talked a couple times by phone, she said her freshman year she was going to try out for the band. She wanted to try out for the flag flippers in the band. And that was a really big deal back in the 70s. We had the Lancers and the drill team, and it was a very competitive thing to be part of that flag regalia. So she told Ellen she was not going to be able to make it to practice that day because she had to go try out for the band. And Ellen said, "You're going to what?" She said, "You are part of a relay team. You have an obligation." And I don't know what else happened, but Mary Lee was never in the band. So, you gave me the microphone. That was a mistake. Congrats to all this year's inductees and all your accomplishments. You can read about everything our team did in the booklet, what we did, what we're doing. I know this because I wrote it, but I know there's a bit of extra time since Margaret was so short. And I'm a visual learner, so I too brought some props to share with you. Whoa. This is a baton. Used in a relay race, passed from one runner to the next. If you're a track person, you know this. The goal is to get rid of it. Sorry, the goal is to get a hold of it, run your hardest, and pass it on for your teammate without dropping it. This one was one of ours. It has some dents in it. I'm sure some are from being dropped and maybe some are from being thrown. Now, where are the track people? Are any track people here today from today's kids, the students? I know you're here. Do you know what these are?
Cinders.
Yes. Timmy Brennan, I knew you would help me out. These are the cinders that made up our track. I picked these up before they put the all-purpose beautiful track that we have today. It was very sentimental. Loose stone that hurt like a lot if you fell down, so the idea was to run fast, do not fall. Some of the other schools were getting all-weather tracks like we have now, but ours was cinders. It had some weeds in the outside lane, which were best to avoid, and if it rained, well, let's just say it wasn't a good idea. We had white sweatpants. It was not a good idea to wear your white sweatpants and run on the wet cinders because the mud kicked up on the back of your pants was embarrassing. Quite a trail up your back. Mr. Dixon said we had the best training track in the state. If you could run on the cinders when you got on a good track, you'd be able to run like the wind. Uniforms. My freshman year, we had the boys' hand-me-downs. They're probably pretty stylish now because they're vintage, but this was one of the smaller ones. Margaret said she had one of the bigger ones. You had to wear your dad's T-shirt underneath because the armholes were a little low. So this was the top, and then this was the shorts. And they may have come in and out of style several times. And this was the sweatshirt, which now I think is pretty jazzy, this one. Yeah, I know. You can fight me for them later. But somehow, in 1976, the week before the state meets started, we got our new uniforms, and we were very, very excited. So the pictures that you see, we have our new uniforms on. So first meet, and I'll be fast. Three meets of note. The medals are up there, so you know I'm not lying. They're actually here. The first meet was the Central Jersey Group 2 sectionals. They were at Red Bank Regional. We not only won the mile relay with a time of 4:05.6, our team also won the Central Jersey Group 2 title that day. The following week, and you track people know how this goes, the following week was Central Jersey All Group meet at Jackson. All the Central Jersey schools. Our mile relay team again took first with a time of 4:02.6, so we got a little better that week. The final meet was the New Jersey Meet of Champions, also at Jackson. Later, the girls would also run at Rutgers like the boys, but this was early on. All schools, regardless of location or size, we ran our best ever that day, 4:01.1. Good enough for fourth place in the entire state. Mr. Dixon always wanted us to run under 4 minutes, and I have that story in there. If one man can run the mile under 4 minutes, why can't 4 girls? You're only running one, why can't you be under 4 minutes? But the record has stood for 49 years. While the traditional mile relay, we talked about this with the boys, they were talking about 4x400. I said, well, we were 4x4 40. So we were 4 laps of 440 yards. Today's race is the metric mile, 4x400 meters. So Trudy Atkins, former teacher at Hightstown, helped me calculate. We figured it out one day that the metric mile race is 15 yards shorter than what we ran as the full mile relay. So we kind of just figure if we had 15 yards left, we could have had 3:59. Anyway, thanks to everyone. Thanks for coming, bringing up the rear here. Thanks to the students. We love having you here, and we look forward to seeing you at the tour of the school with Mr. Vincent, the induction at the field prior to the football game, and I'll let Jeannie tell you the rest. Thank you so much.
Margaret, could you come back up so we can give you the box
cinders?
And Dempsey Dixon was the coach. He's no longer alive. Karen is here to represent. She should come up here to get this.
Come up, Karen.
And Tricia is Ellen's sister. She should come up and get the things. And then get a picture.
Everybody up or front?
In the front, yeah. Take the bag and Charlie.
We're going to send it to Mary Lee.
We can take the certificates, ladies.
Joanne.
Okay, I want to also tell you that Coach
Yep.
Dixon,
Mary Lee is not
he
here.
didn't trust me
For her,
with
Margaret.
his runners because they played field hockey.
And who is accepting for Coach Dixon?
Right here. You. Oh, we're going
In the
down.
fall, to make sure they
Yep.
would be healthy enough to run it in the spring.
Mr. Dixon? Oh, yeah, of course he did. Came to all our hockey.
Okay,
Thank you.
Mr. Miss is going to go over this schedule for the day. One thing at the end with all inductees. Now, you're all quiet so you can hear this. Would you meet right over, where do you want them, Aaron? Aaron, where are you? Over here. Over here, this wall somewhere, we're gonna move the table or whatever. We'll get pictures of you because, if you want to take a picture and you see it too. But Erin's our official. She's volunteered to. She is a Hightstown High coach, and she has a volleyball game today. But she's taking pictures for us today, and for all inductees, she's going to put a link on the website where you can get the pictures then that she's taken. So just remember that. The rest of the schedule for today, he's going to go with Dr. Vincent. Dr. Vincent. Oh, I just promoted him.
Promoted.
I used Dr. Ross, Dr.
A lot of doctors.
Rango.
Thanks, Jeannie.
Let's have another one.
Can we give a round of applause to the chairperson, Jeannie Hikus? Another great job. Thank you, Jeannie, for everything you do to put this on. Just so you guys, everyone's aware, Jeannie basically lives at the high school. About a couple weeks after this event, she'll start showing up again and telling us what we need to do. But honestly, this would not come off the way it has if it wasn't for Jeannie Hikus. So Jeannie, thank you so much for everything you do. In a few moments, we're going to have our current students that are going to go with Coach Pugs. But you know what? I kind of forgot to do something earlier, and I have to put Coach Pugs on the spot. He has a few words as our Coach of the Year. He's going to come up here and have a few comments, and then he's going to take our student athletes back to school. Good luck.
Thanks, sir. All right, so if you don't remember, I was given the Coach of the Year Russ Ballou Award. I did have some words to say that I would like to just let everybody know. So I'm truly honored and humbled to accept this award. This award means a lot to me. It's never been something that I kind of like wanted to get or tried to strive for because I didn't even know it existed. So all I ever really wanted to do was give my players, students, and coaching staff my all every day, right? No matter what I would do, it would always try to be the betterment of all of them. Whether we are on the field or in the classroom, it's a pretty great feeling to have all the hard work that I put in and Gorner and Ed be recognized. But with that being said, it wasn't only me, like I just said. The assistant coaches did play a huge part in it. And it's actually cool to have you both here today. Dave Gorner, Ed Horowitz, they've been by my side since day one. And we actually have some players over there too, Noah Francisco and Alex Makita. Gorner has always been the loud, supportive voice, and Ed brings the wisdom in his pregame speeches, which hopefully the players listen to and not look at me to try to stop him. But that's usually what happens. But I never do, because he has a lot to bring to the table. They both do, and one day you guys will appreciate it. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I never met Mr. Ballou, but with the amount of accolades he has obtained in such a short amount of time, if you don't know, he has coached soccer for 8 seasons. He has 7 state champions of those 8 seasons, which is pretty staggering. And I can see why he's so legendary for this community, and I promise to continue the passion and work ethic moving forward. Thank you.
Thanks, James. Just one little side note, and then we're going to round up our current student athletes and head back to school. Just on a side note, I spoke before about I had sons that attended here and played sports. One of the, I think, a tribute to coaches here, I was talking to my youngest son, and he was talking to me about going off to college, and he kind of was talking about maybe switching his major and going into education. I said, well, what made you think about changing that? Because I've been trying to get you to do that for like the last 5 years, and all of a sudden he made this change on his own. He said, it's a conversation I had with Coach Pugs. He's a role model to me, and I want to be like him. So you definitely made a difference with those young people. So thank you for doing that. At this time, I'm going to ask our student athletes to meet Coach Pugs in the lobby, and you're going to get on your bus and head back to school. Thank you, Nicole. Nicole, one of my work wives, takes care of me. This is a special announcement. One of our Hightstown High School current Hall of Famers, Melanie Bacham, will be inducted into the Mercer County Basketball Hall of Fame. So that's just an accomplishment of our Hall of Famers that continue.